Now, my next guest is Stephen Symons, who is latest recipient of the very prestigious Olive Schreiner Award for Poetry. But Stephen, I believe you don't like to call yourself a poet. Is this true?
Indeed it. Good afternoon, everybody.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Indeed it is. I'm not one really for labels as such. So because I dip my pen in many different disciplines, I prefer calling myself someone who happens to write poems. Okay. And that's essentially my approach. I'm not fond of labels, I guess.
Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so this is not your day job.
So, certainly not. No.
Can I ask, what is your day job?
Absolutely. I'm a graphic designer, and I run a design consultancy, and that's what I do to put bread on the table.
Bread on the table. So when do you find the time to do the poetry? Because this collection you won for is your fifth, I understand.
Yes, it is. It's my fifth collection. In terms of where I find time to write, it's a case of snatching moments. You know, I have a family, and my wife is a busy general practitioner, so it's a difficult environment to write. But you know, one has to find those moments, those fractions of time, generally long after the rest of the family has decided to go to sleep or early in the morning. But it's certainly it's challenging in that regard, but it's worthwhile at the end of the day, I guess.
Where do the sparks of inspiration come from? I mean, are you walking down a street and you'll see something, a line pops into the head? Does it work like that for you?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I think in terms of inspiration comes from many points of, you know, I might be walking down the street and be struck by a scene, or I might more generally than not read something and be inspired by that, and that really provides the spark going forward to hopefully find the time to put pen to paper.
Okay. When did all this start for you, the poetry?
Well, I came very late to poetry. I did a master's at UCT, and in creative writing.
Okay.
And that was in 2012 or 2013, if my memory serves me correctly. And went on to do a PhD in history, and I had my first collection published in 2016. So it's been a fairly short journey in the sense that, you know, as you said, I've put out 5 collections, and it's been one of those interesting, I suppose, life-changing events. You know, to call it a midlife crisis, I'm not entirely sure, but...
Okay. The title of this collection intrigues me. Forgive me.
You stumped me. It came to me partly because I'm fascinated by mathematics as a discipline. I'm not a mathematician, but the notion of what mathematics can achieve in theoretical principles, you know, and you can do so much with mathematics. And being a graphic designer, I tend to look at the detail. And I was reading about the origins of algebra and its Middle Eastern, Persian origins, and I understood it was the breaking down of the bones of a particular problem and then solving it by really putting those bones back together. Okay. And that's essentially how it came to me.
Wow. So we're talking about the algebra of insignificance.
Yes.
I was going to say, the title just absolutely intrigues me. Does it relate directly to the poems that are contained therein, do you think?
Yes, to a certain degree, Mike, they do. In most cases, in fact, when the collection was reviewed, it's something I didn't really pick up on, but my poetry tends to concentrate on the seemingly insignificant aspects of life and then look outwards. I think, you know, to a large degree, poetry tends to be confessional and centered around the I. Yes. I tend to look at the detail and then hopefully, if I get it right, look outwards, look at the greater scheme of things, look at the world we inhabit as human beings.
Okay. So, poetry, fine. That's one aspect to your life. The graphic design obviously takes a lot of your life because it kind of has to. But then there's prose that has popped up. I believe you've just finished a novel.
I have. I arrived again, very late to this party. I feel like something of a gatecrasher. But essentially, I produced 2 short story collections, and they were very well received. And came across this fascinating story. It was, in fact, sent to me by a friend of mine who's an amateur historian. And he said, Stephen, this would really appeal to you. And it's really the story of the most unlikely relationship between a South African black prisoner of war, part of the so-called South African native contingent, and a German Luftwaffe ace. So
in World War II, obviously.
In World War II, yes. He's captured at Tobruk. And then develops, in fact, is seconded to a Luftwaffe squadron and develops relationship, a friendship with a man called Marseille, Hans-Joachim Marseille. And they become firm friends. They listen to degenerate jazz music and play chess together.
Now, I don't want you to give too much away here.
But
no spoilers.
It really is my reimagining of that relationship. It's told in the first person through the eyes of Marseille. Obviously, I've renamed the characters that appear in the novel, and it extends from, it moves from the 30s through to the 40s, and of course then into the 50s, into post-apartheid South Africa.
My word. Okay, so this will be your first novel. It's not yet published, we hasten to add.
Yes, it will be published this year.
Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, and Paige Nick, our book lady, will hopefully review it for you and talk to you about it. So, poetry versus prose. Now, if I had to ask you to put your head on a block, which would win? Or is that an impossible question?
No, I think poetry would win, hands down.
Really?
Yes.
And why? If you can put that into words.
I think, I mentioned this in an interview with the Daily Maverick, and I said to them that poetry has the ability to offer clarity. It distills.
Because it kind of has to.
Yes, absolutely. It's a bit like dark chocolate. And it offers, essentially, in my opinion, a tremendous amount of clarity. It doesn't heal. I don't believe poetry heals. I believe it offers clarity.
Which in itself can lead to.
Precisely, yes. No. Absolutely.
Okay, it's a stepping stone, perhaps. Stephen Symons, it's been fascinating to talk to you. I want to say congratulations.
Thank you so much.
On winning this very prestigious award. I wish you loads of luck in getting the book published.
It's definitely going to be in print later this year.
Okay, and we hope to see it on bookshelves later this year. And keep doing what you're doing, even if it is in the wee small hours and wherever the inspiration comes from. And I can just picture you down in your studio wrestling with a word, because I imagine every now and again that's what you have to do. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, this fits.
More often than not.
And it might be a week later. Stephen Symons, thank you so much. Well done.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Mike.